Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Version 2 video. That is the new suit, and I believe, the first suit of 2023, the Haze'n-thley, something like that. I'm just gonna call it the Haze for short. Uh, and yeah, it's another Advanced Zeta suit, and it's at 600 this time. You know, we kind of been slowly working our way up. We had like 500 the Hazel Custom, the Haimo Hazel Custom, which is like 550, and then you have this suit at 600, and it's a General. And sometimes you play a suit and you just know that it's really good. Yeah, I played my first match with this and I was like, "Yep, this is gonna be something. This is definitely gonna be something you'll see a lot of 600." Yeah, this is our second match here. I have two matches here for you actually. This first match, as I said, this is my second time playing the match. I believe I am playing with James as well, and I believe it's also his second time playing the suit. And yeah, you can see how disgusting two of those teaming up on somebody can be. Sorry, I kind of said that a little bit too fast. And the second match is also going to be a ace match, which I'm going to be solo that time. And that was on the next day, on Thursday. You know, it wasn't the day it came out. So we'll see how we do when people are a little bit more used to the suit. All right. Now we're on to the stats. I did mention this is a 600 general. You have 20,000 health with 19 ballistic resistance with 23 beam resistance and melee resistance. You have 22 range strength, 38 melee strength, 130 movement speed with 220 boost speed, 75 thruster gauge, and 72 turning speed. And for slots, you have 19 close, 16 mid, and 9 long range slots. Now, obviously, looking at the slots here, it's definitely built more for that kind of melee build. And, you know, looking at the melee, it's 38 melee strength. And, you know, I do have a build that I've been using, which is like, I believe, 73 or 75 melee strength. And I went ahead and buffed up my my beam resistance. So I have 40-something beam resistance with 70-something melee strength. And, yeah, it definitely... you can definitely tell that the melee does a lot of damage. And of course, this thing does have a skill that helps it against beams, so the having more beam resistance is kind of helpful. The melee resistance, I kind of just ignored it. It is a little bit, you know, it is 23. So if you want to have a little bit more of a safer time using the suit, you know, you can definitely give this a melee build with melee resistance. That way, you know, you're taking less damage when you're going out to go melee somebody. I've also seen a thruster gauge build because of one of the skills this suit has. We'll get to that when we get to the skills. But yeah, you can do a few builds here. You know, just kind of like the typical stuff, right? Obviously, you can't do too much in range. You only have 9 long range slots. But yeah, now we're on to the weapons, and starting off with the primary weapon, the return of the Hazel beam rifle. And it is 1,900 damage with 4 rounds and 300 range. And of course, like always, you can charge it, and when you do charge it, it will consume 3 shots out of your ammo, and it will do a lot more damage. And it doesn't matter if you have 2 shots left or 1 shot left; I believe it's still gonna do the same amount of damage when you fully charge it. So keep that in mind. So technically, you can just do 3 instant stuns and then finish off with a charge stun on your last shot. But yeah, pretty nice. You know, the Hazel beam rifle has really shown its potential. It's a pretty much a workhorse. You know, it started off on the Hazel custom at 500, and I believe at 550. I think the Haimo Hazel uses that as well, and now it's at 600 with the Haze here, the Haze'n-thley. So yeah, it's definitely shown its potential. And what's funny is, I believe, we have it for all 3 classes in the game as well, because the Haimo Garibaldi Beta also uses it. It's just a really useful weapon, you know? If you want your instant stun, you can get an instant stun. If you want your stun with a lot more damage, you can charge it and get a lot more damage with that. Now, obviously, this thing's not going to do as much damage as the other Hazel units because it has less range strength and less range slots. But it's still significant damage. If you've seen, I believe I might have hit it a few times this match. Still gotten over 3,000 damage. So yeah, you're still doing, you're still chunking people with it. So nice to know. All right, now for your melee weapon, you do have the Haze'n-thley Beam Saber, which is 2,300 damage. And yeah, I believe this shares the same moveset with the Hazel Custom. I believe the same neutral swing and downswing probably the same side swings as well. It does do a lot of damage because of this combo of the damage modifier this suit has, and of course with more melee strength as well. Yeah, this thing can definitely do a number on people. I believe you'll see this match, just the Beam Saber downswing gotten over 3,000, 4,000 damage. Pretty insane. I think maybe even 5,000 1 point against a raid. Although that might have been my other melee weapon, which, spoiler alert, you have another melee weapon. But yeah, pretty nice to have. Already, you know, have a pretty nice setup here with just the beam rifle and the beam saber. But you do have secondary weapons as well. And starting off with your secondary weapons, you have the Mega Particle Cannon ×2, which is 200 damage per shot with 10% heat rate and 250 range. And basically, you can see the beam guns on your shoulders there, one for each side. You do fire twice at the same time. And I believe it is a stun accumulation weapon, and I believe if you're shooting both shots every time, it will take 7 of the combined shots to get a stun. However, if you're hitting somebody with 1 at a time, it's going to be 13 shots. Surprisingly, not 14, just 13. I tested it. So yeah, keep that in mind if you're trying to get a stun accumulation. That it's a lot more beneficial to try and hit both, of course. So should be obvious, but yeah. But yeah, this weapon is really nice for following up after stuns. If you're not close enough for melee, you can just poke at them. You'll see that a few times I'm doing with the shoulder cannons here. Just rapid firing them after I get a stun lock, and just building up damage. And yeah, I can do some good work, you know. And of course, if you don't want to, you know, hit your own teammates with your melee, you can also just use that to get around your teammates and try and, you know, not stun them while they're busy fighting an enemy. So yeah, decent stun accumulation and good damage build-up, so nice. Next weapon is the boosted rifle, which is 2,500 damage with a 80% heat rate and 500 range strength. And that, oh my bad, range strength, 500 range, my bad. Holy shit, 500 range strength. But no, yeah, you have 500 range, and of course you can charge this. You can move while firing this regularly, and you can actually move and boost while charging this. However, when you do fire it while it's charged, you do have to stand still, and when you do that, it fires a Jirobi beam, and the beam will do significant damage. It's not a heavy stagger, unfortunately, but it's still, yeah, it is going to hurt somebody if it hits. I think the most I've seen on somebody, I don't even have a range build. I did 9,000 damage to somebody if I get the full hit off. So yeah, keep that in mind when using this. However, it will overheat the boosted rifle, so keep that in mind. For me, I like to actually use the boosted beam rifle first for a stun lock, because the boosted beam rifle actually has a longer ready up time than the Hazel beam rifle, so that makes it perfect for using for an initial stun lock where you stun with that, and then you follow up immediately with your Hazel beam rifle, and then of course you can go into your melee or your other range weapon, the Mega Particle Cannons. So honestly, yeah, it's a very good starting out weapon. It does good damage. It has 500 range, so yeah, pretty good, I think. All right, first match is over. Let's take a look and see what we did on our second match ever with the suit. Mission completed, and let us see how the Haze did today. And hey, top individual, top assist, and top damage. Of course, that top assist and top individual is mostly because I was the ace getting some kills. Still pretty good though. And hey, you know, 120k damage. And hey, first place, 5-2 with 31,000 pursuit assists. So yeah, that was pretty nice. And now we'll see how we do in a solo match, in ace match. And what's funny, I think at some point in this match, I believe our ace, which, spoiler alert, I don't become the ace this one, but our ace, I believe he goes to go repair his suit, and I kind of just look at him like, where are you going, buddy? Where are you going? I didn't realize he was doing it first. I thought I was just pulling back. No, he went to go repair his suit, so I was just kind of wandering around. It was kind of like that one John Travolta meme, right? But anyway. Now we're on to your last weapon on your secondary weapons. You have the boosted heat blade, which is 2,600 damage, and that is your second melee weapon. And yeah, this is a pretty disgusting fucking weapon combined with your beam saber. First of all, it's the downswing is the thrusting poke downswing. However, because of the size of the blade, it's going to reach. Definitely can catch some people off guard if you're coming up from behind. just coming up with that downswing and just hitting them for, I think I've gotten consistently close to or over 4,000 damage. Pretty nice. Combine this with the beam saber, yeah, it's not out of the question if you get between 9,000 to 12,000 damage if you get 3 downswings off, starting off with the boosted heat blade. So yeah, this suit, the suit's melee, depending on your melee build, of course, will absolutely melt people. It will melt them. These side swings are, of course, because of the length of the blade, they are bigger than some typical side swings from other suits. I believe the right side swing actually does have a bit of range forward-wise when it does the side swing. And of course, neutral swing, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. It's still decent. It does do some good damage anyway. I believe I got over 3,000 damage with just that. So yeah, nice. And I believe in the description for the weapon, it says it can't rapid fire, which is funny to think about because you can swing this twice. I don't know if they made a mistake of making this. Maybe they wanted this to hit once. I guess they changed it last second or something, or maybe they fucked up. But yeah, you do a lot of damage. All right, now we're on to the skills. You have shock absorber level 3. You have radar, you have a dodge roll, you have leg buffer level 3, you have maneuver armor level 1, that means instant stuns will not stun you while you're boosting. You have explosive reactive armor, so that means bazooka explosions, as long as a projectile doesn't hit you directly, the explosion radius will not stun you. You also have blast stabilizer, so mobile suit explosions will not stun you, or heavy stagger you. You do have AMBAC level 2, you have melee combo controller, that's 2 melee swings on both of your melees. You have force injectors level 2, so it takes less thruster gauge off of you when you're boosting multiple times in a row. You do have flight control level 2, so when you're in the air you can boost or jump if you want to. You do have back add-on buffer level 2, which is 15% less damage, I believe, where your backpack is, I think. I'm not sure if it counts the thing above your head. I'm not sure what you would call that. I'm not sure if it counts that. I haven't really paid attention to that. And it's not like people are aiming for that. You know, they're kind of aiming at my legs. But, yeah. And you do have a new skill, which I kind of alluded to earlier. You have a skill called CS Booster Eye Field. Now, it has a bit of an interesting dynamic going on with it. Basically, if a beam attack hits your shield booster on your left arm, it will the damage is reduced by 70%. And if it's a stunning weapon, you don't get stunned. You ignore the stun. You take 70% less damage and ignore a stun. I believe at one point in this match, I can't remember if the Yagdoga GG used his beam rifle or his shield stun. Either way, I absorbed a stun, and that caused me to just ignore his stun and just go into melee. And the thing is, the Yagdoga GG doesn't have the best melee defense compared to a lot of other raids. So that is, yeah, there's going to be some situations where that's going to save you, definitely. However, there is a catch to this. Actually, I think this is right here at one of these points. I believe he's going to shoot me with something. Not there yet. But the catch is with this skill is if you do get hit in the shield booster, I believe depending on the damage, or I guess maybe if it's a heavy stagger or not, it will make your thruster gauge go up. Actually, no, I think he hit me with my shield, or he hit me with his shield. So yeah, I think I've just absorbed a heavy stagger and just melee the dude, which, yeah, again, that's pretty disgusting. However, if you notice, my thruster gauge went up by a lot, and that might be something that can fuck you over potentially. So that's something you have to keep wary about. Is that if they continue hitting you in your shield, it will overheat your thruster gauge, and of course that means you can't dodge roll, you can't boost. And I believe your shield booster stops working if you're overheated as well. So keep that in mind using this suit. So yeah, that will lead directly into the pros and cons for this suit. Starting off with the cons, there's hardly any cons. basically it just amounts to you're a kind of a chunky suit, so you'll be a little bit more easier to hit, and uh, the eye field, the booster eye field skill, depending on if somebody, I say interesting, I said it was like an interesting dynamic earlier. Basically, if somebody does go after your shield, and I noticed this playing this suit, and I think James is telling me the next day after the suit came out on Thursday. I believe he was telling me that people were purposely aiming for the shield so they can overheat your thruster gauge, and that way you can't get away. And of course, if you can't get away, you're going to be taking damage. Now, it's not as big as a downside. Like it's again, like I said, there's hardly any downsides to this. This is hardly a downside because even if they do take out your thrusters, you still have amazing melee. You do have 2 stuns to work with. It's not too much to worry about unless they're really unless there's multiple people focusing you and shooting you with beams. The shield doesn't work if you get hit with a ballistic weapon like a bazooka. So keep that in mind. But yeah, for that's pretty much it for cons. There's not really much. It's kind of just okay. You might lose your thruster gauge depending on if somebody hits your shield. And the thing is, even if they hit your shield with a beam weapon, you're taking 70% less damage. So it's still not like it's almost like it's not worth it. But yeah, sometimes that can mess you up if you're boosting away from somebody and they shoot your shield and you're overheated. So there are some moments where it can kind of trip you up, but again, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And as I said, kind of a chunkier suit. Now for pros, you kind of have an answer to every kind of stun in the game. You have maneuver armor, you have anti-blast stabilizer, you have explosive reaction armor. And of course, you have the eye field, which works for beams. So you essentially have a answer for everything in this game. Yeah. Mission completed, real fast. We'll see how we did. Hey, top assist, top damage, and I got shot at the most. I'll take that. Gonna praise our raid, and I believe the Rizel, maybe. All right, Rizel, nice. And hey, first place, 1 and 2. Obviously, I was just kind of more focused on trying to help the ace get some kills, so I did fine. And yeah, basically, back to what I was saying, this suit has a lot of skills that help it out in terms of just surviving, not getting stunned. You don't get stunned by mobile suit explosions. You don't get stunned by blast radiuses. Can't get stunned by beam rifles if it hits your shield. Yeah, you can keep on trucking. So that's definitely a pretty good positive. Another really amazing positive is the weapons on this suit. Every weapon just works extremely well. The Hazel beam rifle, of course, like I said, the potential has only gone up with that weapon. Like it's a 500 cost weapon that's still doing really good at 600. And of course, you can combine that with your boosted beam rifle for stun locks. Boosted beam rifle does do some good damage. You can hold that for insane damage with the Jirobi beam. The Mega Particle Cannon times 2 is really good for following up after stuns if you're not close for melee. And speaking of melee, yeah, the melee is really, you will melt people like butter, I swear to you, if you do a melee build. People with low melee resistance, they better watch out. That's all I'm going to say. You can almost, depending on the raid you're fighting, you can almost treat some raids like raids treat supports, which is really telling for how good the suit can just melt raids. Yeah, definitely a really huge pro for this suit is the weapons. Some other smaller pros, of course, is just that you do have some good boost speed, movement speed. You do have some high thruster gauge initially, 75 thruster gauge. You do have some high initial melee strength. Yeah. Suit's fucking crazy if you know what you're doing. But actually, no, you don't have to know what you're doing. I think another positive I think I'm going to give this suit is that it's very, very simple to use. It does not require a big giga brain to use this suit. You got stun, you got melee, you have something to follow up. with rapid fire, like rapid fire wise. They go crazy on people. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And you know, type up in the comment section how you feel about the Haze'n-thley. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And yeah, playing this is a pretty good suit. It's one of the suits, like I said earlier, you can tell just when you play this that, wow, yeah, this thing is gonna be sticking around. Kind of like with the Rebawu. I saw some people comparing it to the Rebawu. I don't think weapons-wise it's comparable. It's more like just maybe they're having that same feeling I was having, where like they play it and they go, oh, you know. But yeah, I totally recommend you guys roll for this. This is definitely a suit you want to roll for. Again, it does the damage. It's really easy to use. If you're new in this game, this is definitely a suit you can roll for, and it's good for just learning just not only basic stuff, but just, you know, when you start learning how to combo, you will be rewarded for doing combos. Again, I have gotten, if I can get those 3 downswings off, 9,000 to 12,000 damage combos. Yeah. So yeah, definitely recommend this suit. And yeah, we'll see what else they do with AOZ. I mentioned before I'm not a big fan of the AOZ designs, the Advanced Zeta designs, but honestly, so far all the suits have just been fine. They've been doing really well. They've all just been simple yet effective units. You know, give or take the Haimo Hazel, since that one kind of like, you know, different from other raids, right? But yeah, they've all been really simple, but yet just can do the job. And they all have been, I believe, they all have been relevant meta-wise, except for the Haimo Gabaldi beta. Even then, that still does some disgusting. It has some disgusting damage potential. So yeah, whenever we see the next AOZ suit, keep an eye on it. You know, you never know what they're gonna do with that. It's probably gonna be something that's gonna do something dirty too. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, not ace match. Good thing it's not a regular match, because you won't just go plant a bomb afterwards, like everybody else does in Arctic Base. You're not fooling anybody, bro. Get down swung.
Oh, I missed. It's all good.
No, that was 4,000 damage just from a blind fucking downswing. Dude, you need to make this. You need to do a melee buff with this. You need to do a melee buff with this, James. It's fucking worth it. Every step of the way.
I'm about to.